Morning, everyone. All right, it's your girl Marissa here, and I am excited because I just did this awesome workshop for Edgemead Primary School, beginning of 2025 to kickstart their year. It was all about productivity and time mastery and identifying time thieves. And during that, um, during that workshop, I asked them to write down any questions they had on Post-its so that we could stay focused on moving the workshop forward. And they gave me some great questions. So I am here today to answer those questions. Now, before I do that, let me just preface this by sort of reminding you, because I didn't really touch on this a lot in the workshop, but as a former teacher and now mindset coach for teachers, what I do is I help to support and empower teachers in becoming the best version of themselves. And that is in and out of the classroom, because of course, teachers often associate their entire identity around being a teacher. Now, if you are a teacher and you want to invest in a few sessions just to sort of get perspective on maybe the direction that you want to take, regardless of your teaching career, then DM me, message me, like, let's talk, let's discuss. Okay. And getting into that, let me explain first the questions that I'm going to be answering so that you can forward to exactly where you want to go in case some of the questions don't pertain to you. So the first one is, how do I politely tell someone that I don't have time for them at this moment? Okay, excellent question. Number two, can you unlearn procrastination? And what are some of the ways that you can stop it from happening? Number three, how do I plan, or how do you plan? How do any of us plan for the days when there are curveballs thrown our way that are obviously unexpected? Number four, how can I time block emails when I won't know how many emails I will be receiving? So I'm just going to quickly preface that one by saying, I gave the teachers a strategy about time blocking, which is about taking something like email, which distracts us consistently throughout the day, and blocking a specific amount of time during the day when you are only going to tackle emails in that time. So this question is looking at, well, if you don't know how many emails you're going to have to tackle, how can you time block it? So we're going to look at that. The last question is, can you give me some planning strategies as an out of the box thinker? Now, this one, I kind of read it one of two ways. So I will sort of explain that one a little bit more when I get to it. But yeah, let's do this. Okay. Now, obviously, no one will be surprised that I used my personal assistant, ChatGPT, to help me. And the best line I heard in the workshop is, it's not just like you have one brain of a personal assistant, you have like a million brains. Perfect. Because that is how I was able to come up with a lot of great ideas for these questions. All right, let's get into it. Number one, how do I politely tell someone that I don't have time for you at this moment? Now, you can obviously transcript this video or this podcast if you're listening on the podcast, but I would encourage you just to pop this into whatever AI language model you're using, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or Copilot or Meta or whatever, any of the ones you're using. Pop that question in, tell it you want. I asked for 10 possible ways of saying this, and then practice. And if you're nervous about telling someone this, role play it with your teacher bestie. Have your teacher bestie like just randomly, okay, you're going to walk into my room and you're going to ask me to do something and I don't have time, and I'm going to say what I want to say. And you don't have to do all 10. Pick the two that you like the most and then practice them a few times so they're sort of in your working memory, and you can start to use those when you need to tell someone that you don't have the time at the moment and you don't want to seem, rude or insensitive. Okay, number one. I would love to help, but I'm really swamped at the moment. Can we reconnect later? Because that allows them to be like, okay, it's not like she's just, saying, no, I'm not interested, go away. It is giving the option of like, let's reconnect at a better time. And then that puts the power more in your hands where you can now ask, you can go and later say, listen, I've got a little bit of time here. Would you be free? And you can make it more on your schedule. Number two, I'm just in the middle of something really important. Can we touch base after and then give them a time, 3 o'clock, tomorrow morning, this time, give them a specific time. Say, can we touch base after this time? Number three, I really can't give this my full attention right now, but I would love to schedule a time to talk. So I will, as soon as I'm done here, I'll message you and we'll figure out like what's the best time that we can schedule something to look at this again. Number four, I want to help, but I really need to finish this first. Can you check back with me in a bit? Or you can be very specific. Can you check back with me after 12 o'clock or at 12 o'clock? I've got break or I've got a free period or something like that. Number five, I'm on a tight deadline at the moment. Can we discuss this tomorrow? And again, give a specific time, give a specific time frame, but that always, is a good one, especially if a few curveballs have been thrown your way, which we're going to look at later in a later question. Number six, I really wish I could chat right now, but I have to stay focused on this task because I need to get it done today. And that shows them that, okay, you have to get something done. It's a priority. It's urgent. And then if you want, you can reschedule when you want to see them again. Where am I? Number seven. I'm juggling a lot right now. Can we find another time to go over this? And again, try to see if you can't give them a specific time. That is the key. It's like, I'm not saying I can't do this for you or worth you, but I just can't do this right now. Number eight, I can't give this the time it deserves right now. Can I get back to you later? Okay, so it allows that. And this is a totally different thing, by the way, from sort of setting boundaries to actually saying no to something. That is a separate, that's a separate video that I will also do. This is saying that you are going to help, but you just can't help right now. Number nine, I really appreciate you reaching out, but I'm not available at the moment. Let's set up a better time. And then you can give them some options, or you can tell them you'll get hold of them, you'll message them. And last but not least, I'm so sorry, I really can't talk right now. Can you email me or leave me a message instead? Right? So is this something that you could email me about so I could look at it in my own time? Could you voice note me so I have an idea of what you want to look at, but I can listen to it again in my own time? I could listen to it in the car, like driving home sort of idea. Okay, if you've got any that you use, obviously pop those in the comments. Always important to share best practice. All right, question number two, the inevitable procrastination. Can you unlearn procrastination? And what are some ways of stopping it? Okay. Now, procrastination, we have to always remember, is our brain protecting us from doing hard things. Because normally procrastination happens because you know that might be hard to do it. It's not something you necessarily want to do. So you tend to put it off. Now, the first thing I'm going to start with before I give you ways of stopping procrastination are 5 motivational phrases that you can try to inspire yourself, because remember, your brain believes what you tell it. So if you start shifting your thinking and the way that you're speaking about the task, that can help. I know that's something I do, and it's helped a lot. All right, number 1, just start. It doesn't have to be perfect. And if I'm speaking to you, especially if you are like one of my besties who is a teacher perfectionist, it doesn't have to be perfect. Progress, not perfection. And funny enough, that is number 2. Progress is better than perfection. So for me, I'm often like, okay, you only have to work for it for 15 minutes and then you can take a break, or you can do what you were going to do with the procrastinating. It's like, when you trying to motivate yourself to go to the gym, and you say, okay, you can go and you only have to go on the treadmill for 15 minutes and then you can leave. And inevitably you wind up spending longer on it. All right, so that's number 2. Progress is better than perfection. I just have to make progress. Number 3, I've done hard things before. I can do this too. It's not going to be as fun as a trip to, I don't know, Disney World or something, but I have done hard things. I can do this. Number 4, one small step forward is still progress. Every 1% adds up to 100%. I mean, you might want to do, okay, 10 minutes, 5-minute break, 10 minutes, 5-minute break. I'm not judging. Do what works for you. But you have to get into your mind. You have to start telling yourself that this has to get done. Therefore, trying to say, it's just do a little bit and get some of it done. It helps you build the motivation to keep going. And number 5, always a good one, future me will thank me for this. You always make the decisions. You never ever, I mean, what is the phrase? Like, don't make the decisions based on present you, right? When past you made a decision, past you is the adult because past you knew that this had to be done. Present you is the child. Present you is going to try and get you out of things that past you said needs to get done. So you got to listen to past you. And if you listen to past you, future you will be like, thank you. So these phrases are just 5 examples that can help you celebrate small wins and keep moving forward. That's the most important thing, celebrating those small wins. And in terms of unlearning procrastination, right, you have to recognize like your habits as well that lead to procrastination. So for instance, if you procrastinate by scrolling through social media on your phone, put your phone away, right? Commit to just putting it away, put it in a cupboard, put it in the next room, put it in your purse, like turn off put it on focus and put it away. And here are 5 strategies you can try to sort of unlearn your procrastination. Number 1 is breaking your tasks into smaller steps. So big tasks really overwhelm us, and this leads to procrastination because we don't know, and students are terrible at this because they don't know how to actually break it down into smaller tasks. So that is also something we can teach our students. But dividing your task into smaller, manageable pieces and completing one step at a time, it just gives you that sense of satisfaction, and you feel, more motivated to do the next step. So instead of saying, for example, write this report, you could start with create an outline or write the introduction or, if I had a report to write, obviously I would first get it through ChatGPT and then throw my own voice on it. But you could even ask ChatGPT to create the outline for you. Number 2, use the 2-minute rule. If whatever you are procrastinating on is going to take less than 2 minutes, just do it. Just like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Mel Robbins, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it. Because this helps you build the momentum and can make like a larger task feel less daunting. So parts of your larger task would take maybe less than 2 minutes. Do that first, just like get those out of the way. Number 3, set specific goals with deadlines. Don't be vague and be like, oh, well, I'll do it later. No, later could be in like, I don't know, like 3 days. And it forces your brain to be like, yeah, you could do it later, right? You could definitely, of course, later. I mean, and there's no actual deadline. You need clear goals with specific deadlines. Like I will finish part A of my breaking it down into mini chunks by 3 p.m. today, right? Or put it as your 2 most important things, your 2 most important tasks of the day, so that at least, again, you've got one part completed and it gives you that momentum. Number 4, and this is going back to what I said earlier, eliminate distractions. Social media, email, anything like that. You can get website blockers to block notifications. Be really conscious of what notifications you actually have coming through, and just putting your phone and your computer on do not disturb, on focus mode, so that things just don't come through. You can also allow, like if you definitely need to receive calls, for instance, from your partner because maybe something's up with the kids, you can set that up in your notifications or in your focus mode. You can set up the different types of focus and allow certain things to still come through. Okay, and the last one is reward your progress. Ooh, we all like rewards. So celebrate your small wins, right? So, treat yourself to a snack or a break or going, maybe just a stretch, or I know those are like, small things, but and then while you're doing those things, just remind yourself, just keep telling yourself, I'm so proud of you. You did this part of the task. That is amazing. Okay, so it's a lot of shifting in the mindset and just keep working at it. Don't give up. Just keep trying different things. And again, if you have any ideas, pop them in the comments. All right, next question is, how do you plan for the days when there are curveballs thrown your way? Which, of course, if you are a teacher, is probably every day. Number one, okay, curveballs are inevitable. You can't predict what's going to happen, right? But you can stay grounded and productive by using some of these strategies. Number one, breathe. Pause and breathe. Just take a moment to pause, okay, before you react, because this can help to calm your nervous system. I'm a big proponent of breath work. If there's one thing I would encourage you to learn this year, it is how to use different types of breath work. It alleviates anxiety. It's scientifically proven just to do so many great things for your body and your stress levels. You can use simple box breathing. That's just inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Okay. And just breathe, because you can't, like, this will also help you avoid any impulsive decisions. Number 2, prioritize and adjust. Now, what this means is look at your to-do list, which you should have. Look at your to-do list and decide what is the most urgent thing that needs to get done. And any non-essential items or tasks can just be put on hold for the moment. You are allowed to reshuffle your priorities. So really look at what has to get done and just focus on that one at a time. Sorry, one at a time. Number 3, break it down. So if the curveball feels really overwhelming, just look at what you have to get done in small tasks, or if the curveball itself is something that you actually have to get done, again, small tasks, one step at a time. It just helps us feel in control, and that automatically reduces stress. Number 4, ask for help or delegate. Is there anything maybe the kids could help you do? I know I have some teachers, their classrooms have to be perfect. Again, progress, not perfection. But with me, I was always like, what could the kids do that I could put up on the class so that I don't have to put something up on the walls? Or is there anything the kids could do to help me with this? If you can't get the kids to help you, maybe you could ask for support from a colleague, or even a tip on how to make it quicker. You could ask ChatGPT, of course, I'm always going to say that. And number 5, most important, focus on what you can control. And I mean, actually say to yourself, what can I control here? Identify what is actually within your power to address, and what do you have to let go of because it isn't in your control. And worrying about things that are not in your control, it just literally wastes your time and energy. So whatever you can control, you want to focus on that. Remember, you can control your thoughts, your attitude, your reactions, and just like doing your best, just do your best. Overall, okay, when life does throw you these curveballs, right? Which as teachers, I know all the time. Your greatest strength is flexibility. It's being able to kind of shift from one space into another, because unexpected situations, that is just part of life. And you have to adapt. That is actually a skill, right? So if you're not adapting, that is something you can look at working on this year to help you, sort of be calmer in these moments of overwhelm when curveballs hit. Because imperfection, like, you need to embrace imperfection in your day and develop a strong problem-solving mode, right? Be solution-based, not problem-based. And remember that even small steps are victories. Okay, I should get that on a mug. Small steps are victories. All right, next question. How can I block emails when I won't know how many emails I will be receiving? All right. So we looked at time blocking for emails because I'm a huge believer that when you just have emails popping up throughout the day, they are a huge time waster. So when we time block, even if we don't know the exact volume, we have to sort of set our boundaries and we have to prioritize. And this is how, okay? Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you is if you have any emails that ChatGPT can help you answer, right? You remember to explain, please answer this email in a kind and gentle tone. And you can copy and paste that email back and you can send it. Okay. So that's the first thing is, are there any emails that ChatGPT could help you write? It's not to say you have to copy and paste exactly. Always read what ChatGPT has written for you. Always. And then you can copy and paste it in and you can tweak it. You can just make it how you need it to sound or how you can add any changes or take anything away. Now, if it's a colleague who's emailing you, unless you need like written confirmation of something, then could you answer it in a voice note? Could you just voice note them the answer and then get that done out of the way? Okay, next, still have your fixed time blocks, right? So I would allocate 30 minutes. I would see, how does 30 minutes get you in a day? In most days, are you able to get your emails done in 30 minutes? Because then that is a legitimate, or like not legitimate, a realistic amount of time. And if there happens to be other emails that you need to answer, either you could do 35 minutes, you could just answer them after that 5 minutes, or see if there's anything that could be pushed to tomorrow's time block. But if there's just a few more emails, I would just answer them. But if you're finding that 30 minutes tends to be not enough time, then start taking 40 minutes, blocking 40 minutes to answer your emails. I am a big advocate of really learning how your email provider works. What are all of the tips and tricks you can learn about your actual email provider? So if you're using Gmail, if you're using Outlook, learn about what functions or features does it have to make your life easier. Next, limiting your response time. So challenging yourself to respond to each email in under 3 to 5 minutes, not overthinking an email. If you are overthinking the response to an email, get it in your language assistant, your chat GPT, your Claude, whatever you're using, because it is not going to overthink that email for you. You can give it a nice tone. That way you'll know you didn't come across as mean or rude or insensitive or anything like that. If you are even remotely thinking of it, overthinking an email, that's what you need to do. And then if it's a more complex email and you're worried about how it's been sent, check it with someone. Okay, next, turn off your notifications. This, of course, is like, don't be distracted during your time block time. Make sure that you are only focused on doing these emails. Obviously, if something comes up, it comes into your space, you have to probably, there's your curveball we were talking about, but just breathe. And then, get on with it when that curveball is out the way. And last but not least, batch process your low priority emails. So things like group emails, updates, newsletters, things you don't actually have to respond to, then you could always have, a block in the week where you just look at those and then delete them as you go. And obviously, if you're getting subscriptions, make sure you're unsubscribing to things that you don't need. And then I just wanted to give you a little flexibility tip. So basically, if an unusually high volume of emails comes your way, and you have to adjust your next time block slightly or schedule an extra time block, that is okay because your goal is consistency, right? It's progress, not perfection. And over time, you will start to get much more proficient at answering emails, especially if you're going to use ChatGPT to help you, because you will have the structure down. You will see what ChatGPT is doing, so you will learn how to structure your emails a lot better. Okay, a lot on the email time blocking. Next question. Planning strategies for out of the box thinkers. Now, I wasn't sure if this question is designed to mean how can I structure my planning differently? I would say that your school probably has a specific structure. So you may not be able to deviate from that structure. But if you can, I would look for templates online. I would say, give me five, planning templates to practice what I'm doing, to practice planning in a different way. You might want to try, like mind mapping or storyboarding, or they've got the one here, Kanban boards, which is basically like Trello. It's a productivity app, and it just helps to keep everything you do organized. And they visually can organize your thoughts and plans in a more non-linear way, especially if you're creative. So you could draw your planning, but normally schools require you to have like written plans. Now, if I'm understanding this question in terms of I want to make my lessons more out of the box and more engaging, I would definitely say you can search for this as well online, like just apps best apps for teachers. Check some subreddits as well about, apps in the classroom or subreddits around teaching. You can do that. I would also consider, maybe Facebook groups that deal with, AI in the classroom, things like that. Join certain groups like that. The ideas I got from ChatGPT were to try, I said this one, exploring visual tools. Okay. And you can even help, kids, teaching them, showing them. I've always liked Padlet. So Padlet is really cool because it's like a pin board and it's interactive. So when the kids get a code, they can put their ideas on the Padlet, like on the pin board, and you can see them in real time. And Nearpod, when I was teaching, Nearpod was one of my absolute favorites, especially if the kids all have devices. Nearpod was amazing. Or you could use like sketchnoting, and you could teach the kids about sketchnoting. You could plan. Okay, now this one I think is more about planning your own type of planning, but having theme days. So from the teacher's perspective, having like creative Mondays or admin Fridays where you're going to do like all your lesson planning here, or lesson planning Thursdays kind of thing. And then on Mondays, it's going to be more creative. You could look at, different bell ringers or starters for the kids that can make things really interesting. You could even get the kids to come up with some of those things. All right, next is looking at alternative methods. You can actually research, alternative methods to planning. So you've got bullet journaling, like time blocking, like we've talked about, but more where you use playlists or activities that inspire you. So you could have a playlist as well for the kids that can help them focus. Next, you could try collaborating with your friends, your colleagues, to see if they've got any strategies that they use, any brainstorming strategies, talking to other creative thinkers, like creating a network of creative thinking teachers. So whatever direction you meaning this, like the whole concept of being creative in the classroom, get a network of other teachers who are creative. It doesn't have to be teachers at your school, although I'm sure there will be a few there for sure. And lastly, test and adapt. Test and adapt. So test out different things and then adapt accordingly and see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, because you're not likely to stick with something, obviously, if it doesn't work for you. And that is the end of the Q&A. If you have any other questions that you want me to do a video around, like again, pop them into the comments. I would love to do that. Yeah, and as I said before, if you're not following me on Instagram, teacher_mindset_coach, or TikTok, or yeah, my YouTube channel, definitely. And if you know anyone who would like to be interviewed and share their story or share good practice for the educators out there who might need a little bit of extra guidance, please contact me. I would love to have you on. All right. Wishing you an amazing day. And hopefully, I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.